Imagine any major city of the world without public transport network. How do people travel to work, to school, or to see friends and family? The answer is chaos. A city without public transport is a city that regularly grinds to halt. That is the reason why we should be happy that Latvia has so many public transport lines.
Ada cara?
Trams are one of the most used public transports in Riga. After the First World War, all of the tram routes except one were cancelled, and the trams were taken to the Russia. The new trams had to be built fast, so they were built similar to their old counterparts. The tram were box-shaped and had no specific colored scheme. Nowadays, trams are different. They have more comfortable seats, electrical heaters, and even two monitors. One shows the upcoming stops, and the other one shows some entertaining videos or advertisements. Nowadays, you can buy public transport tickets almost anywhere, but when the public transport appeared in Latvia, the only way to buy tickets were buying them at the special ticket shops or in the public transport. To get the full-time schedule and bus destinations, visit the official website of Riga Satiksme. Or if you don't have access to internet, you can walk up to a tram station and see arrivals. Trains are the biggest and fastest public transports in Latvia. In this footage, you can see a recreation of a passenger train in 1925. In 1946, train formatation consisted of combinations of 6 or 9 such wagons, service compartment, engine and passenger carriages, with driver's cabin, toilets and luggage compartment. In 1955, the train frame was covered with a ribbed metal floor for the first time. Nowadays there are 3 main train routes. All trains running within Latvia have spaces for bikes. Latvian Railways is the main state-owned railway company in Latvia with more than 12,400 employees. In 1922, first buses started to transport passengers in Riga. The first buses had no specific model. They were made out of old transport truck chassis, which limited their performance and design. After World War II, all of the buses were taken by the army, and the bus line in Riga consisted only of 4 buses. In these days, Riga has one of the most beautiful and modern bus parks in Eastern Europe. All of the buses have same color scheme. The buses have modern designs and beautiful cockpits. Trolley traffic in Riga started in 1947. The first trolleys were shaped like a box. They had two lights on the front and the back, which combined with its shape and made it difficult to recognize the front and the back because they looked the same. In 1961, first Skoda trolley were delivered. It was bigger than the previous one. Riga Satiksme stopped using them only in 2001. The modern trolleys have inherited the box shape of the older counterparts. The thing that has changed is the color scheme, size and minor details. In Riga there are two trolley parks, in Sarkandaugava and in Tornkalns. We tried to interview few people, but we didn't learn anything new.
Cik bieži jūs izmantojat sabiedrisko transportu ikdienā?
Katru darba dienu gan arī.
Kuru no transporta līdzekļiem jūs visbiežāk izmantojat?
Tramvaju.
Vai ir uzlabojies komforts sabiedriskajā transportā pēdējo gadu laikā?
Droši vien, ka jā.
Vai cenas ir mainījušās gadu laikā?
Jā, ir mainīgi.
Labi, paldies.
We wanted to learn more, so we interviewed our relatives.
Hello, I'm Justin's mom, and I'm going to tell you briefly about my experience with public transport. As I grew up in 80s, the most terrible thing what I remember about the public transport was old yellow buses. You can see it right there. They were really smelly, always crowded, and always cold, and they were never on time. So I was really often late for school or didn't go to school because there were dropouts of buses in a row. As I lived in Mandresala and I went to public school in Riga downtown, it took me about hour and a half till 2 hours to get to school. So I used usually two public transports, this terrible yellow bus and then trolley bus to get to school, or sometimes I used the train and then took the third public transport. That was a tram. Trams and trolley buses were a bit better and a bit warmer than buses, but public transport got better just around the late 80s, the start of 90s. Then there appeared those, how do you call those, e-buses?
Minibus.
But at the start they were not like public transport, they were private transport, and the prices were very different because those drivers took bribes usually, so that's why probably Riga municipality decided to make those mini buses as a public transport to control the cash flow from the public transport. And this terrible experience about the public transport encouraged me to drive my own car. So I drove to school since I was 16. I didn't have a driver's license, but I was driving to school with my car. Okay, bye.
We learned that public transport in Riga has developed tremendously in the last century, and it is still developing nowadays. prices are getting higher because public transports are getting more comfortable thanks to Rīgas satiksmi and Latvijas dzelzceļš.